Hello, welcome to the Liberated Multitasker. Today, I thought we would make a shortcut to my Mama's apple tart recipe. They are so delicious, and this is going to be so easy, worth the little bit of effort it takes. Please come along and join me. You will love them. Before we get started, let's back up a couple of days to when I went ahead and pre-made my pie crust. I did a batch is 4 pie crust, and went ahead and put them in the freezer. I'm going to link this recipe in the description notes below. It is our absolute favorite, and it's on Pinterest. This is the only pie crust we make anymore. One recipe makes 4. I actually did a double batch so that I would have plenty in the freezer. These pie crusts freeze beautifully, and I love having them in the freezer. It's just a homemade convenience that makes everything else simpler and easier. Now, this is a little bit of a messy process, but well worth it. It's not low calorie. It has almost a stick of butter per pie crust, but it is so delicious, so flaky, and so good. Now, another difference in the shortcut that I'm going to do today is that my mama always fried her apple tarts, and we will be baking ours. When I fried them, you had to make sure that the grease was just right, and even then, after a couple of days, they had a tendency to get a little soggy. These hold up wonderful. Now, I was about 14 when I first went over to my mama's house, and she showed me how to make her apple tarts. She would cook her apples down, freeze them in Cool Whip bowls that was the perfect serving for her batch of apple tarts. And then she would make out her pastries. We would fill them and she would fry them up. Now, unfortunately, we lost my mama's specific recipe to her apple tarts. Other ladies in the community gave us their pastry recipe and how they cooked their apples down. However, today I thought we would do my very own shortcut method to her apple tarts. And according to my 4 brothers and my daddy, these apple tarts taste just like hers. Now it's time to fast forward to today, to where we actually make our filling and put our apple tarts together. We're going to start off with a great value, just apple pie filling. We're going to put this in our pot. And I'm going to put about 1/4 of a stick of butter and a good amount of cinnamon. I'm just going to stir that up and cut this on and let it heat up. Now, as soon as this butter is melted, I'm going to use a potato masher and mash these up. So I've taken 2 pie crusts out of the freezer and set them on the counter for a couple of hours and then put them in the refrigerator. Another option is to put them in the refrigerator overnight. I'm just going to use my clean countertop. Back it up so you can see what I'm doing. Take out my pie crust. And the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut it into 4ths. I'll set this off to the side. I'm just going to go ahead and roll this out and try to get it in some semblance of a circle. I try to roll it in each direction. Make sure it doesn't stick to my counter, and go ahead and spoon out the filling in my tart. I'm using anywhere from 1 to 2 tablespoons of filling. I'm going to take some water and rub it around the edges and then fold it over. And I'll use this little tool to cut some holes in the top. Now we'll do the same process until they're all done. Now, sometimes I'll take a lid or a bowl and cut a perfect circle so that they look prettier. But today, I'm just trying to get it done. I'm not taking these anywhere. These are just for us. So if they're a little rough around the edges, it's just okay. Now, when you already have your pie crust in the freezer, this really takes next to no time at all. I've also done tarts with homemade strawberry fig preserves, strawberry jam. I've even done it with pear preserves after I've drained some of the liquid off, and they're all very tasty. So if you have homemade apple pie filling, that will be perfect. This is just a shortcut that makes it easy if you do not already have some of that on your shelf. Now, mine and my brother's favorites are the apple tarts, but my husband and my son prefer the strawberry fig preserve tarts. I've also tried different shapes. I've done a top and a bottom and made them like individual little hand pies. But I have personally found that when I do them in this shape or a circle and fold them over, they hold the filling better. That's just my personal experience. But there's all kind of ways to make them cute. I've heard them called hand pies or homemade Pop-Tarts. For us, we've always called these whatever type of fruit they are. Apple tarts, strawberry tarts. No matter what you call them, they are delicious. Now, I'm just about done putting the filling in the middle. And so the next thing I'm going to do is an egg wash. Now, when I do an egg wash, I will use 1 egg and a tablespoon of water. And I'll beat that up together. And then I will just brush it over the top of my tarts. Now, that's all I will do before I bake them. Now, if you want to dress them up just a little bit more, you can sprinkle some sugar on top of the egg wash, just to give it a little texture, just to give it a more of a Pop-Tart feel if that's what you like. So that is just your preference. Today, I'm only doing the egg wash. And then I'm going to put this in the oven, preheated at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. So in they go. I'll bring you back when they're ready. All right, so here they are, nice and golden brown. I'm going to put them on a cooling rack. And I really hope you give these a try. Tell me what kind of filling you prefer, and if you plan to make them anytime soon. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.